Pens of big red last night. I know it's Valentine. The morning works look fine. You know the jockeys brothers are a friend of mine. And just a minute, boys, I got the...
Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Saturday, October 25th races at Hastings. We only have two live racing days left, Drew, and we got 7 on Saturday. We have 8 on Sunday to close out the 2014 season.
As we wind down, the race office did a good job of getting the races put together for this weekend. This time of year, as people start to migrate south, it can get a little tricky, but they did a good job of pulling it together and getting 2 good cards together.
You see a lot of fillies running against the boys. It's just because their last chance of the meet for the ones that aren't going south or aren't going to go to Portland or to Phoenix or to California. So you'll see fillies running against the boys, kind of a maidens running against winners. So you can't. But as you mentioned, Stu Slagle and his staff did a great job to get 15 races for the weekend.
15 races. Just before we get into it, I will remind you, next weekend, starting Friday, Breeders' Cup. We will do a Breeders' Cup show.
Yes, we will.
And get to a television on that day. Friday, there's 4 Breeders' Cup races on Friday, and then of course the big Saturday. Let's jump right into the first race at Hastings. Fillies and Mares, maiden 5, going 6.5 furlongs. Field of 5. I've gone to the 5. Queen Militant. When you look at this race, she's kind of a standout. This 3-year-old filly out of the Sylvia Gregory barn. Her buyers, who she's been running against, everything kind of towers over everybody else. She had been running in non-2s her last 2 starts, and led the whole way, just got caught late in the last one. Now she drops back in against maidens. Not a very tough field. She's going to be a short price, but it's going to be tough to beat her. The second spot, I went with Macawow out of the Phil Hall barn. Just got beat by Portray Your Vision. And the last one, ran 3rd. But Amadeo Perez sticks with, of course, you're our leading rider here this year. That is wrapped up for sure. 104 races. He had options. He went with Macawow. I'm going to put her in the second spot. And then the third spot, Aber Be Gone, the horse that ran second to ahead of Macawow last time. I'm going to flip-flop those two. I think Macawow gets the better of Aber Be Gone in the third spot. Today, I went 5, 1, and 3 in the first.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I agree. The 5-horse Queen Militant dropping out of non-2 fours into this maiden race. She must win the race if she has, if she has another good. If she repeats her last race, she must win the money.
It's a 5-horse field. I don't see her getting a whole lot of traffic.
No, she's going to be on the chooch. I mean, she should be on the head end. So I look for her to be very tough to beat. I agree with the 1, Macawow. Phil Hall has 2 in here. He has the 1 and the 2. Amadeo shows up on the 1. That's got to be the one that you think would be liver of the 2. So I put that one in for second, and I put Rocket Star in for third. Rocket Star has some speed, so put that one in for third. But definitely Queen Militant at a short price in the Saturday opener. On to the second race, got some maiden $5,000 claimers going a mile and a 16th. Really another standout on paper here. The 3-horse Stallman Pete. Unlucky to lose to On the Sunny Side last time. They were a mile and a half clear of the 3rd horse. And if you look at the competition, it's really tough to. It took me, like 3 seconds to find the winner. And to find the second horse, find the second and third horses, it took me like 15 minutes. And it's like, Stallman Pete should win by a pole. I put the 5-horse Holy Cheroot in for second. This horse has had some tough trips. Maybe there's better there with a better run in a smaller field. But this horse this form's been muddied up a little bit. And I put the 2-horse. He's got a heart of gold. And started out the year running against much better. Dropped down to the bottom. But this horse might have some upside. He's lightly raced and. Got a couple fillies in here. I don't know. Or had 1 filly anyway. But just a race where Stallman Pete is a standout, and it was really tough to find anything for second and third. I went 3, 5, 2.
Totally. Stallman Pete, he towers above these, his buyers, his performance, everything.
We love Stallman Pete, too, named after our good buddy Pete Hodge.
Pete Hodge,
he used to be the Stallman. He used to.
He had many hats.
Yes, he did. Pete Hodge, a former clerk of scales, I think, or at least he was, and as well as he was a Stallman at Hastings for many years before he passed away from cancer.
I agree. Stallman Pete, as you mentioned, named in honor of Pete Hodge. He will break his maiden on this day.
Yes, he will.
Tough to foresee a scenario where he gets beaten here. I went to the lone filly, Septigal. She was 3rd in the last, as you mentioned, quite a ways behind Stallman Pete, but I think everybody's going to be quite a ways behind him. I put it Acceptigal, the Rob Maben. Rob Maben's other runner here. I'm going for the Rob Maben Exactor.
The old Maben 1-2 here.
And I agree with you. He's got a heart of gold. Just looking through, but maybe a horse that has some upside, hasn't run a whole lot. Coming out of Taylor Anderson barn, a young trainer who's had a good year. So I'll put he's got a heart of gold. 3, 1, and 2 for me in the second. On the third, Fillies and Mares, 4,000 non-2, going 6.5. Field of 7 signed on. I didn't get further than the first 3. I put Zenita Rose of the Sandra Loseth barn. Amadeo Perez has 2 runner-up efforts.
Yeah.
Another one, her buyers just tower over these. I got her in the top spot. I put New Twist Miss, who flopped as a chalk in the last one, but comes out of a good barn, the Mike Anderson barn. I'll give her another shot in here. I put her in the second spot. In the third spot, I put Little Blossom. I feel like I keep going back to in these. She's been disappointing, but these races keep getting easier at this time of year. So I went 2, 3, and 1.
Yeah, I agree with the top 3. I did go to New Twist Mist on top. I think this horse has to get a better trip. I mean, this horse was not yarded back, but just kind of got shuffled back away from the gate. And it was 4th going into the first turn, and ended up like 7th at the far turn. And the cheaper fillies, you're not going to make up a lot of ground.
Exactly.
And she rallied to be 3rd, but she's better than that race. All she needs is a little bit better break out of the gate, and I think she'll get up. She's the best for my money in here. So I'm going to go to the 3 New Twist Miss to win it. I put the 1 Little Blossom in for second. Had a tough draw last time in the slot. Better draw today with the rail. And I put the 2 Zenita Rose. We got the same 3. I just interchanged them. I went 3, 1, and 2 in the third. On to the 4th race. Got some $5,000 open claimers going, a mile and a 16th. I ended up on the 3-horse Vying for Glory, a horse that's dropping out of those marathon races, or shortening up out of those marathon races. I thought he did well fighting and chasing Say Fabulous, who would be 1-9 in this race. So I like Vying for Glory to maybe sit the trip in behind the speedy number 2, Doc and Dance, and the 5, Maurice Glory. So I think the 3, Vying for Glory, gets the trip and going to be dangerous. I took the 1, I'm Big Trouble, in for second. It was only his 3rd race of the year, and it was his first try going long. I think he can reverse, turn the tables on Texas Buccaneer, who did beat him last time. Kind of got to sit ahead of him, which maybe dictated who won the race. Maybe I'm Big Trouble will be a little handier early and be a little closer to the pace. But I think he's got room for improvement. And Texas Buccaneer, he's alive. He's always good. He's a cool horse for Mike Anderson. He always runs good races. If he gets a pace, he's going to be dangerous. But he got a perfect trip under Gabby Asensio last time. Gabriel gave him a perfect ride, and it was nice to see him win a few races lately. And he's got another live one here. I went 3-1-6, but I think Vying for Glory is the best horse. Can have first run on anyone. I went 3-1-6 for me. In the
I actually left Vying for Glory out. I went to Captain Salt. He tried one of those races last time.
He's coming out of the marathons too.
That Talk Its Charm, Say Fabulous race.
Same race.
He's won 4 races this year, all with Amadeo. Amadeo shows back up aboard. Him and Rob Gilker lights out together, about 52% together. So I took a flyer on Captain Salt. You probably won't get a big price with Amadeo Perez, but coming off his last 2 races, you might get about 3-4 to 1 on him. I agree with I'm Big Trouble. As you mentioned, the horse just kind of rounding into form right now. Good second behind Texas Buccaneer in his latest, and lightly raced, just kind of getting going. As the Barb Hedge barn has just been on fire lately. It took her a while to get going, but she's rolling right now. So I got I'm Big Trouble in the second spot, and I put Texas Buccaneer. I agree. Gabriel Asensio, Mike Anderson team up for a horse who just won a very similar race to this.
Those look like those are the 4 horses
those are the
anyway.
4 horses
the only one I'd throw in maybe is Maurice Glory. It's a filly technically the boys.
I had her
fast.
I had her
but
in, and then I
don't know. I worry that she's going to get hooked with Doc and Dance. That's the only reason I don't have her in there. I think she's good enough. I don't love anyone in this race, but if she can get somehow maybe even outbreak Doc and Dance and get the lead, and if they leave her alone, could be bye-bye. I mean, she's
for
not
young
that bad a
rider
filly.
Ceviche.
Sahin Ceviche's been riding so well.
Yeah, he sure has. He's a welcome addition to our jockstring here. But 4, 1, and 6 for me in the 4th, in a murky 4th.
Yes.
On to the 5th, 3-year-olds and up, claiming 5,000, going 6.5. I've landed on a good friend Alan May, Hall of Fame trainer Alan May's horse, Big Jim. Amadeo Perez was aboard for 4 of his races this year. 3 of them were lights out. Three of those performances would win this race. I think it's going to set up well for him. I like his kind of stalk and pounce style. Good to see Amadeo back aboard for the estate of our departed friend James Veach.
Our buddy Jimmy Veach.
Jimmy Veach, Big Jim on top.
I know.
The second spot, I went to the 7 after court of the Frank Barrowby barn. He could be part of the pace scenario. Jeff Birmingham Had some good races. You know, he got beat by Game 7, Ruffy Joe, in his latest, who were two pretty salty horses. Horses that would look very good in here. And the third spot, I went to Chapel Boy. He's been rounding into form, running some very consistent races right now. Good ride. As we mentioned, Sahin Ceviche, am I pronouncing
That's
that
close
correctly?
enough. I don't even know if I'm right.
It's pretty
saying
close.
Sahin Ceviche.
For
or
Hall of Fame
Savachi.
trainer Harold Barabee, good 71 Byron his last.
From Turkey. Ankara, Turkey is where he's
There
from.
you go.
Met him in the paddock last week.
You're doing very well.
He's doing great.
Chapel Boy, 1, 7, and 3 for me in the 5th.
I ended up on the 4-horse Swiss Arrogant.
Yeah.
I think this is going to. I'm worried you scratched last week, which is a concern. But the horse has speed, and this is. I just thought this race was weak for speed. Ray's Reno is kind of route speed. After Court got the lead in 23 and 2 or 1 last time, and I don't know. He's just not a really. Swiss Arrogant's a tearaway speed horse, and I just think
He's
he
proven
might.
in the past when he gets alone, he can be very dangerous.
Yeah,
too.
and he's a tough one to follow because he's not the most consistent type, but he's you know, you never know when he's going to hang on. But this could be the day, and I'll try Swiss Arrogant to hold on over the one big Jim. I agree with everything you said, Amadeo for Alan May, and I put the 3 Chapel Boy in for third. He's rounding into form, probably going to be sloppy, and he seems to like the wet
He
going.
does not mind the wet going. No.
And Ceviche on once again for another Hall of Famer, Harold Barabee. So 4-1-3. In the Saturday 5th. On to the 6th race, got some $4,000 claimers going 6 1/2 furlongs. And up on 6, Sterling Remark, maybe to just edge the 8, Wise Boss. It was a 2-horse race for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either Wise Boss or Sterling Remark. They're both short prices, probably. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But I just thought Sterling Remark, ran a good race last time. Probably the horse that has a little more versatility to it, which may help him in this race, because Wise Boss seems to need the lead and just kind of tears away and gets caught every time.
Yeah.
But Sterling Remark can sit the trip. If there are 2 horses and maybe 2 horses that want to go out there, because maybe Principe's Herbie might go out there this time. But Sterling Remark, I like the options. I don't mind Amadeo aboard, so I put Wise Boss in for second, and I put Honey Skila filly in for third. A couple of fillies in the race. I'm going to try Honey Skila rolling from off the pace. I know she was beaten by Little Miss Bean, another filly last time, but I think she can turn the tables on that one. She got a little far back. I went 6, 8, and 1.
I don't have a whole lot to add. It's Sterling Remark or Wise Boss's race.
It is. Those are the 2 horses. You play in the pick 4s, pick 3s.
You're gonna want
likely a 2-horse
you get
play.
those two, and like when I looked at it, I put Sterling Remark on top. More for the connections. Amadeo Perez, Craig McPherson. Wise Boss has been running very tough, but he has been getting caught, and he's been getting caught more decisively. You know,
Right.
Game 7 broke his heart, flying and beat him by a neck, and then he gets beat a leg. Now he gets beat 2. I'm not crazy about the way he's going, so I got Sterling Remark on top of him. But yeah, those are the 2. I looked around, pick a horse for third. I went as well with the filly, Honey Skila. She's a hard knocking sort.
Yeah, she'll run well.
Yeah,
She'll
she's
come
almost,
running.
well, she's 6 for 9 in the money this year, so she could get up for the third place. I got 6, 8, and 1 in the 6th. Speaking of Sterling Remark, he led to my, notice how he runs in that race, because in the next, I took Promise Glory out of the Dave Forster barn. Last time he was 21-1, basically because it was short.
Yeah, sprinting.
He hits the board every time, and he ran a huge race and almost caught Sterling Remark. It was a monster effort. And so if Sterling Remark absolutely crushes that field in the 7th, maybe you look to Promise Glory, who almost beat him last time in the nightcap. As I mentioned, he's got 11 starts this year. He's hit the board every single one of them. He's a hard-knocking little guy. Keyshawn Balgobin rode him last time. Amadeo gets back aboard. He's had a lot of success on him this year, so I put him on top. He's going to have to beat So Legit, though, the 5-horse out of the Jim Penny stable up here from Seattle. He's dropping down from the 15,000, 12.5 non-twos, which are obviously quite a bit tougher with ambidextrous Duke, going in 16 and 4. So he's definitely the horse to beat. And in the 3rd spot, I went to the 8, Lord Calazar, a horse who just won his non-2. As I mentioned, out of the hot, Barb Heads Barn. Ceviche takes over for Amadeo Perez as Amadeo goes to Promise Glory. I got 4, 5, and 8 in the nightcap.
Yeah, I have the same 3 horses. I just put So Legit on top.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with the run against Ambidextrous Duke. And DJ Snow, those are much better horses.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I know he's coming back on a week's notice, but they wanted to run him long. He's overstepping a condition. He is a non-2, and he's in this non-3, but I think he fits here, and I think Frank's just going to have him right on the lead, and he's going to be pretty dangerous as long as Heath Jr. doesn't, put too much pressure. Coriandrum runs.
That will tell you a lot, too. If there is a good pace.
If there's a pace, then it's going to help.
Glory.
Promise Glory and Lord Cal's are the two off the pace
And
types.
if it's slower, then Solid is probably going to get it.
But I agree with your Promise Glory. I got that one in second, and Lord Calazar, who loses Amadeo to Promise Glory, gets Sahin Savici, though. But I went 5, 4, and 8 to close it out. Well, that'll do it for our analysis of the Saturday Hastings program. Up next on screen will be a quick recap. We'll have a look at our little bingo balls here.
There we go.
See the recap of this Saturday picks. Back in race number 1, I went to the 5, Queen Militant. I went 5, 1, and 4. Race number 2, I went to the 3, Stallman Pete, 3, 5, 2. I got a lot of 3s in a row here.
Yeah.
Third race, went to the 3 again. New twist
3.
missed. Yeah, 3, 1, 2. And in the fourth race, number 3 again, vying for glory, 3, 1, and 6. Fifth race, number 4, Swiss Arrogant, over the 1, Big Jim, and then another 3, Chapel Boy. Sixth race, number 6, Sterling O'Rourke, and the 8, Wise Boss are pretty interchangeable. I went 6, 8, and 1. In the seventh and final, of course, as we just mentioned, I went to the 5, so legit, I went 5, 4, and 8.
On to my picks. There we go. In the first, I went to the 5, Queen Militant over the 1 and the 3. In the second, I went to the 3, Stallman Pete over the 1 and the 2. In the third, I went to the 2, Zenita Rose over the 3 and the 1. In the fourth, I went to the 4, Captain Salt over the 1 and the 6. In the fifth, I went to the 1, Big Jim over the 7 and the 3. In the sixth, I went to the 6, Sterling O'Rourke over the 8 and the 1. And in the nightcap, the 7th, I went to the 4, Promise Glory over the 5 and the 8.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner. Just a quick reminder that if you're going to Hastings, that nice little sheet here, there it is. Got our lovely little selections on it, as well as a 2-for-1 Derby Bar and Grill coupon. Got the overnight on the back. There's lots of goodies. Shows all the specials on that we have here at the Derby Bar and Grill as well. So a great
Second to last chance to get one.
Yes, absolutely costless. It is absolutely free.
Yep.
So do check that out. Don't forget, racing resumes at Hastings on Sunday. We have 8 races on closing day, October the 26th, so it should be good. And then, of course, Breeders' Cup.
The big one, Breeders' Cup next weekend.
Breeders' Cup Friday, October 31st, and then
Halloween.
Saturday, November the 1st. So a 2-day Breeders' Cup once again. So that'll be on Friday and Saturday the following week. Okay, on behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
Valentine, the morning works look fine. You know the jockeys, brothers.